Apple and Google team up to use your data against COVID-19. So this was posted by Phil104 on the forum, and the original article here is from the BBC. So Apple and Google are jointly developing technology to alert people if they have recently come into contact with others found to be infected with coronavirus. This is some incredibly big brother stuff right there. They hope to initially help third-party contact tracing apps run efficiently. So this would make the apps interoperable so that contact tracing would continue to work if people traveled overseas and came into contact with people who are using a different tool. Ultimately, they aim to do away with the need to download dedicated apps, though, baking a toggle switch into the OS. Isn't that kind of terrifying? Like how easy it is for them to turn on an app that basically catalogs everyone you've come in contact with. Like, that took weeks.
Yeah.
The two companies believe that their approach, designed to keep users whose participation would be voluntary, apparently, okay, so that's good, I guess, anonymous, would help address privacy concerns about this. So here's how all that shakes down. Participation is voluntary. You don't have to participate. Users are anonymous somehow. I mean, so they're anonymous in the sense that I guess your like user token would be like randomized, like it wouldn't be your name, but it wouldn't be anonymous in the sense that you couldn't, like, okay, if I worked at Google or Apple and I was to have your token number and I could see everyone you've come in contact with, I could probably figure out who you are eventually by going to places that you go on a regular basis and being like, sup, what's your name? Cool. And then leaving, and then I would be able to match a token with the name. Now, obviously, that's a lot of tinfoil hat kind of thing. And that means that the database wouldn't be searchable the other way. Like, I couldn't just enter a name and then see where that person is gone. I would have to like find random tokens and then match those to names. So it would, be a 1 in 7 billion shot to, have Kim Kardashian's, who she's been in contact with token. You know what I mean? But it's still, I don't know. There's definitely a lot of people out there that's going to make pretty uncomfortable. So the way it tracks your location is it uses your phone's Bluetooth signals to determine who the owner has recently been in proximity with for long enough to establish a contagion risk. Bluetooth, that's actually a super kind of clever way to do it. So it's not GPS, because as soon as you go inside a tall building or whatever, GPS isn't going to be accurate to within the 6 feet that you're expected to maintain from other people for social distancing. It would be far less accurate than that. But if you're using Bluetooth, it can use GPS as like a sanity check. I mean, I'm guessing it would do this, but it could use GPS as a sanity check to go, okay, yeah, these guys were in approximately the same location, and then Bluetooth to be like, oh yeah, they actually were near each other. I guess you wouldn't even need the GPS. That's pretty cool. That's kind of smart.
Close proximity.
So then you wouldn't know where people are going. You would just know who they've been in proximity to. Okay, that does help my privacy concerns a little bit. Look, it's got its own issues, Luke. I see your face. I see the face you're making. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying it's amazing, and I feel like, we should just turn it on all the time. I'm just saying it's better than having GPS tracking on all the time.
It's definitely an interesting tool in this time.
You dick.
Whoa. That's I don't hear the beeps. So there's just so much inside of me. He's like, you can't say that on the internet.
Oh, that's too much fun.
Goodness. You missed one of them, I guess, but that one's not that big of a deal.
Okay. Anyway. So yeah, okay. Tell me how you feel. Tell me how you feel.
I don't know. These things are always funky because there's always the like, I mean, it's opt-in, right?
Yes.
So whatever.
But there's been a lot of things that have been opt-in that turns out they're just like
you can't.
Yeah.
That even if you don't opt in, you can't opt out. So
yeah,
Google likes doing that kind of stuff. I don't know. I mean, I think I usually like going with the like, no, protect my information thing. In this case, I would probably sign up for it. That's due to like people that I'm close with being high risk and wanting to protect them as much as possible. And if I was able to know that I was near someone that was infected so that I could not be near those people anymore, I think that would be very highly valuable. So I would probably turn it on myself.
You know what's interesting is we actually talked about a very similar topic, and you said
the pipes thing.
The smart toilets one.
That's what I'm saying. The Adult Swim meme is that it's pipes.
Oh, sure. Okay.
The smart pipe.
Yeah.
Thing.
So smart toilets that would basically evaluate your health based on your excretions. And you said no for that one. And I think I had said something like, so you wouldn't turn it on to save your life. But then I guess the question becomes, would you turn it on to save your dad's life?
Yeah, it's not mine.
Oof.
I think that's like a big part of the change.
Right.
Is that like, that's me putting the value of my own information over the potential lives of the people that are close to me. And that starts to break lines for me, because that's no longer, the consequence isn't on me anymore.
Right.
Or not as much.
Yeah, I mean, it could be
still
on
is.
You. Yeah.
It still definitely is. But
anyone could die.
There is also other heavy consequence on other people, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that changes my stance on that.
Okay, so tell me this then, because really the sort of the utopia, outcome of the smart toilet thing is that collectively as a species we become healthier and live longer because we learn far more about the effects of our diet and our activities on the human body, and we're all able to collectively be healthier. Now, but it gets more specific than that, because let's say that some of the information that they collected about what's higher risk for you, like what you're at risk of, let's say that knowledge could be used to say, okay, so there's a hereditary risk factor for Luke here. It came from somewhere, and that ultimately comes back to someone like your parents or your brother, and they could use that to proactively, even though they don't have a smart toilet, they could know, oh, wow, well, this guy got it from somewhere. Now what?
I think in this case, I know that the person/people that are at risk would much rather that I had the app installed. It's not
the COVID
that
one.
I can. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I wouldn't even have to ask. They would very heavily insist that was done.
Right.
So if the toilet thing came around and my like family and people that are close to me were like, hey, you should get this thing because of me, I would be like, I think I would be much more heavily convinced, if that makes sense.
Right. But as long as they don't watch Wan Show and they don't learn about this toilet, then you're never going to bring it up. Then we're good. All right. Got it.
I think it's one thing to be proactive on your own, and it's another thing to deny someone else's concerns, if that makes sense.
All right. So
my current stance on that.
It uses the Bluetooth signals that so it uses the Bluetooth signals. All right, it's officially the Boomer Show now. It uses Bluetooth signals to determine who you've been in proximity with, and if one of those people later tests positive for COVID-19, the owner of the handset that's gone near it would get a warning. Okay. So this is right in here. No GPS location data or personal information would be recorded, and the records of the digital IDs involved would be stored on remote servers, but the companies say these could not be used to unmask a specific individual's true identity.
Okay. I'd be interested in what the warning is or would be, because, for instance, there's a concern that's affecting us right now. I won't entirely go into it, but a bus driver in British Columbia that worked in I think it was the Surrey area, but they won't specify what route, contracted COVID and died, but they won't tell anyone what route.
Yeah, that seems counterproductive.
Seems counterproductive, but apparently it's because they're worried about like witch hunting on his like family and other stuff like that, because there's been a lot of negative reactions, like people attacking nurses and doctors and stuff like that.
I haven't heard about this. This is a new one for me.
I don't know how common that is in Canada.
Right.
But I've seen video stuff of it online. I think the big concern and the reason why people are doing that is due to them still wearing their scrubs and their medical stuff on the way home, and they're worried about them spreading it.
Oh, I see.
But I don't
I
know.
mean,
This
they
whole thing is very weird right now. It
probably should be
seems,
ditching that stuff at the hospital and leaving it
yeah,
there to be cleaned. That's a fair point, but I also,
they might not have the facilities for that right now or something because it might be over
yeah.
capacity. I don't know.
All right.
Um, but yeah, they won't release like what the route was, which seems, I don't know. I'm not a fan of that personally, but
All right.
yeah.
Apparently,
So basically, what I guess I would say is like, would they say where, or just you have been near someone?
no, I don't think it would even know where. So the contact matching
Right, because
process
it doesn't
takes
use
place
GPS.
on device, rather than centrally. So
It would be nice if it told you the time then.
yeah, the time would be pretty nice. But I think
Because
the idea
there's
is
a difference between like if you're somewhere and you're being extremely careful versus yours, so like you probably didn't get it even though there was someone within Bluetooth range,
yeah.
or there's somewhere where your defenses have to come down a certain degree for a certain amount of time. And if you knew that was happening, someone just said Luke interrupting tips. Yeah, I'm sorry. If you knew that was happening, it would be nice to know like, oh, I was somewhat compromised at that time.
That's
Now my
fair.
concern level goes up.
But I think the issue is that they want to take as little information as possible to get you sort of the basic. They want to take as little info as possible to get you something actionable. And the actionable thing is, hey, you need to go into quarantine.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it. You were exposed.
That's fair.
Get into quarantine. Because it's so contagious that if you were in a close proximity to someone who has it for some period of time, that apparently it does require you to be in contact for some period of time. So it's not enough to drive past someone on the street, is what I'm assuming they're trying to avoid. Then you just kind of need to, because it can stay alive on surfaces. People can cough into the air, and the particles can be inhaled. So it actually seems like, I started out really skeptical about this, but it seems like the way that they're going about it is kind of smart and pretty reasonable. So they're saying they will openly publish information about their work for others to analyze. And the European Union's data protection supervisor said the initiative will require further assessment. However, after a quick look, it seems to tick the right boxes as it pertains to user choice, data protection by design, and pan-European interoperability. All right. Well, good luck. In other news, this was posted by...
Will you sign up for it?
Will I sign up for it? Sure. Yeah. I don't see why not. I mean, right now, I basically haven't left my house other than to run to my local grocery store, grab a couple things, wipe down the boxes with Lysol wipes when I get back to my house, and that's it. That's basically all I've done in the last like 2.5 weeks. So if I'm in quarantine, I don't think I'm going to bother to put the app on my phone. But if I were to go back to the office, like I had coughed twice today. So I'll have been symptom free for 72 hours by sometime next week. And I would like to go back to the office so that I'm not setting up every shoot by myself right now, like I am right now. And so if I were to do that, yeah, I think it would make sense for me to have an app installed at the very least. And I'll probably switch to wearing masks, except when I'm like the moments that I'm on camera and recording, just because it muffles the audio.
Yeah.